Hey everyone, it's Deb, and I created the expense tracker that went viral on TikTok. And since then, I've had a lot of requests to show you how I made the expense tracker from scratch. It's actually super easy to build. I'm not an expert in Excel, and I was able to build this. And once you know the main mechanisms, you can do so much with your own customization. So in this video, I'll be building a new and improved version of the expense tracker using the exact same methods I did with the original one. So this new version has a summary of your expenses and your income as well, and they also have their own dashboard. Expense Tracker 2.0 will be available for download in the link in my description. This is a breakdown of how I built the tracker. They'll be timestamped below. Let's get started. So the first thing that you need to do is create a form for your expenses. Right now we're in Google Drive, so you do New, More, Google Forms, then type in expenses as your title. The first question should be the purchase date, and that will automatically update as date, but you can actually select anything from this drop-down menu here. Go press required, then add a new question. Next question should be the item, and that will be a short answer. Press required, add another question. Next one is amount, and this will be a short answer with some conditions. So this will be a number only. And if you were to type anything else other than a number, then it'll flag it as being wrong. So also press required, then add a question, and then this one will be our category, and it automatically picks drop down. So we're going to do 5 categories for today. So category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4, category 5, and then select required. And then we're going to do one more, which is adding a receipt to your form. So we're going to add receipt, and instead of picking short answer, we're going to pick file upload. And anything you upload through this form will be uploaded to your drive in a folder. So this will be really useful for those who need to keep track of their receipts for tax purposes. So press continue. And then you can allow only specific file types if you want, but I'm just going to leave it like as is. Maximum number of files, I'm going to do 5, and then leave it at 10 megabytes, which is fine. And then I'm going to leave this as unchecked because there are a lot of expenses that I don't need a receipt for. So I want to submit without needing to put a receipt in. So I'm going to leave it as is. So then you press the preview button after that's all done. And this is what it looks like. You have the purchase date. You can fill out, and then your item, you can type in whatever, cake, amount, $7, category, choose your category, and then you can add a file down here. So that's what it looks like, then press submit. But this isn't linked to a spreadsheet yet. So we're gonna go back to this edited version and then go to responses, and then click this button here where it says create spreadsheet. And because we haven't created a spreadsheet yet, we're going to select this first option and then go create. It's going to open this sheet. So you go to the bottom and rename this expenses. And then as you can see here, you can see that it has the timestamp, it has the purchase date, it has the item, it has the amount, the category, and the receipt. Okay, so once that's done, what you want to do now is create a form for your income, which is an additional thing to the Expense Tracker 2.0. So what we're going to do is go back to my drive, and as you can see here, you have the expenses, you have the expense sheet, and then you have a folder where your receipts will lie. Then you go to New, go to More, Google Forms, and then go rename this to Income. And the first question will be the date. Go required, add a new question, then income source. And you should pick a drop-down menu for this and put all the places that you get income from. So sometimes it's just like the one place, sometimes it's multiple if you're a freelancer, and you can go workplace 1, workplace 2, workplace 3. You can name it anything you want. Then go required, then go add question. Then the next one will be the income amount. and this will also be a number. So go required. Then the next one will be the invoice or payslip. And this will be a file upload. So go press continue. Then maximum number of files is 5. And that doesn't have to be required if you don't want it. Then if you go to preview, then you can see that has a date, income source, income amount, and then the invoice and payslip. And then you can press submit. And the way you add the responses from this form to your expense tracker sheet is to go back to this area, go to responses, press the icon here again for create spreadsheet, and then go select existing spreadsheet, and then press select, and then you select this one here, which is the one that you just created for your expenses. So click on it and then press select. And what we'll do is create a new tab. It says form responses to, and you want to rename that to income. So right now you have 2 tabs in your expense sheet, which is income and expenses. So once you create your expenses and income forms, we're going to add some sample data so we can build our tracker around it. So let's go to our expense form and then submit on January 1st. Sample 1, let's do $70, choose category 1, submit another response, then go to January 1 again, and sample 2, 80, category 2, submit, January 1 again, sample 3, $90, category 3, submit, January 1st again, sample 4, 100, category 4, submit, then another one, last one, sample 5, 110, category 5, submit. Then we'll go into our income form and then add also on the 1st of January, workplace 1, $1,000, submit, then another one, workplace 2, $2,000, submit, then the last one, January 1st, income source, workplace 3, $3,500, submit. So when we go to our expense tracker sheet, we can see that these have been recorded in the income and in the expenses, as you can see here. So before we get stuck in, we're going to change the name of our expense tracker and also the country and the time zone of it. So changing the title is super easy. Just go to here, double click, then just rename it anything you want. So I'm just going to call mine Deb's Income Plus Expenses 2020. Then to change your country and your time zone, go to File, Spreadsheet Settings, then change your country. So I'm going to change it from United States to Australia. And currently my time zone is right in Sydney. So I'm just going to leave it as is, then press Save. And then I'll do a little refresh to reflect those changes. Finally, we can start making our dashboard. So what you do is go to the plus sign down here to add a sheet, then call this the main dashboard. So once we've added a new sheet, we're going to create our axes. So we're going to start with month, then next to it would be category 1, category 2. Then you can just select both of these and then just drag it until F, and it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then here should be total expenditure, total income, then gross savings. Then month, we'll do 1st of January 2020, and then 1st of February 2020. and then select both of those and then drag it down to 13, and then you'll have from January down to December. And then we'll pick our colors. So we go category 1, let's do red, category 2, orange, yellow, blue. Total expenditure will be darker red, total income darker green, gross savings, it's pink. So we have our colors established. Then we can fix this section up. Right now it's not really that easy to read, so what you do is you format it in a way that is good for you. So we can select this, go to format, number, and then go to more formats, more date and time formats. Then you can customize the way you want your date to look, but the way I want my date to look is to go January 2020. So we don't need the day, so let's delete that. Let's delete this dash as well. Then go month as full name. Then delete that slash and then put a space and then go full numeric year. Then press apply. And then as you can see, it says January 2020 all the way down to December 2020. Then we want to separate this category section here from this section. So just visually, we're gonna add a little border. So go to borders, then press the left border so there's a direct line between this section and here. Then what we're gonna do is add a totals bar down here. So we're gonna make this gray and then go total. Then we're also going to add a budget bar down here as well. So we're going to make this a nice green color. I'm going to call this budget. Let's make these a bit darker as well. So that is the basic structure. And then the next thing we want to do is add our basic sums for this whole structure. So the spreadsheet works. What the total is equal to the sum of this entire section, which currently is 0. And it would be the same for the rest of these as well. So as you can see, if you go to the formula here, it says sum is B2 to B13. And then what you got to do is just drag this across here. And if you see here, it's adapted. So it's C2 to C13. And you can keep dragging it across here as well. And just need to fix this part up so the line goes completely through. And then for total expenditure, you want this to be the sum of this category here. So it'll be B2 to F2. And then what you do is drag all of this down right to the bottom. And then if you check the totals, then it'll be sum is B2 to F2. Yeah. And then as you go down the rows, they're the sum of those total rows. So the total expenditure that this calculates is the total expenditure for the month. And then the total expenditure that you calculate down here is the total from this category. Then your total income will be put in a bit later. But then for gross savings, it will equal to the sum of your total income minus your total expenditure. So it'll be H2 minus G2, press OK, and then select that and then drag it all the way down. And then as you can see, that is H4 minus G4, that is H6 minus G6, and so on and so forth. So those are just the basic sums for the main dashboard. And then we want to do the same for the income. So to build an income dashboard, all you got to do is go to your main dashboard at the bottom, then go duplicate. Let's rename it to income dashboard. Then let's just adapt this. So this will be called workplace 1 or whatever you called your source of income. This will also be workplace 2. And then we can just drag this and make workplace 3. And let's color this differently, like a blue. And then because we only had 3 workplaces, then we can just delete these columns. We don't need them. Then we can just delete the total income and gross savings column, because we don't need those. And then just rename this to total income and then just change it to like a green color. And then we can delete this as well and reset the color because we don't need that. And that's it. The next thing I'm going to teach you is how to understand the formulas in your expense tracker. There's actually only one formula, which is duplicated over a lot of cells. It's broken up into 5 parts, as you can see here. To summarize, this is what it does. It collects the data sum only if your expense is within the date range of a certain period and is also in the right category. To break it down, equal sum ifs means it will only read the sum if it has the following conditions in these brackets. The second part here refers to where you're getting your expense amounts from. You're getting your expense amount from the sheet you called expenses and your data from column D in that sheet. This part of the formula uses dollar signs, which means if you copy this formula anywhere, parts of the formula with the dollar sign will stay locked in. For example, if you did $D1, the column D will stay locked in, but the row will change. If you did $1, the column will change, but the row 1 will be locked in. If you did $D1, nothing will change because column D and row 1 will both be locked in. This third part refers to the beginning of your date range. This is how your sheet is able to categorize your data month by month, or if you choose, week by week. It's getting the data from your expense sheet, from column B. This is where you've input your purchase date. It will only accept this data if the purchase date is greater or equal to the date you've put in A2 of your main dashboard. In this case, A2 is equal to the first day of January. Because there's a dollar sign on A, column A will stay locked in the formula. There's no lock on row 2, so when the formula gets copied over, it can adapt for each month. This fourth part refers to the end of your date range. It's getting the data from your expense sheet from column B again. This is where you've input your purchase date. It will only accept this data if the purchase date is less than the end of the month of the date you've put in A2 of your main dashboard, which is again the 1st of January. There's a +1 because it needs to include the last day of the month as well. Because there's a dollar sign on A, column A will stay locked in the formula. There's no lock on row 2, so when the formula gets copied over, it can adapt for each month. This last part refers to the category of your expenses. It's getting the data from your expense sheet, from column E. This is where you've input your category name. It will only accept this data if the category name is equal to B1 of your main dashboard. Because there's a dollar sign on 1, row 1 will stay locked in the formula. There's no lock on column B, so when the formula gets copied over, it can adapt for each category. So I hope that made sense, and now we can put our formulas into our sheet. So once you understand the formula, then we can just apply it to our spreadsheet, and it's super simple. All you got to do is select this cell and press paste, and then you can pretty much just drag it down and then drag it across. And then as you can see, the prices that we initially put in have shown up. So if we were to refer back to expenses here, category 1 has 70, then 80, then 90, then 100, then 110. If we go back, it reflects there. And then here adds everything up together. And we don't really like the format of the way this looks right now, so I'm going to select all of this here and then go to format, then number, then go accounting. And it looks way more professional. And you're basically halfway there. So then we're going to do the same for our income dashboard. We're going to paste this formula in, but we're going to make sure that instead of saying expenses, we're going to write income. So it refers to the right sheet where you get your data from. So we're going to replace all of those with income. And let's make sure that the columns are right. So we want to get our income from, column D. Then our income date will be B. And then our income category will not be E. It will actually be C. So let's change that to C. And as you can see, it used to say 0 and now it says 1000 because it's starting to read the sheet and the data. So we're going to just drag it down and then drag it across. And as you see here, workplace 1 has 1000, workplace 2 has 2000, workplace 3 has 3500, and then it's included the total income. and then just select all of this here and then go format, number, accounting, so it all looks nice and pretty. Now that you have your total income, what you want to do is transfer this sum over to your main dashboard, because right now it's empty. So what you can just do is go equals sum, bracket, and then just go to income dashboard, click on it, and then just select this, and then press enter. And then it transfers it. And then you can just do the same with everything else down here. And it will just automatically do it. So as you can see here, this says equals sum, income dashboard, E2, then E3, E4, E5, all the way down to E12, which as you can see here is December 2020. And then because you have your income in, then it calculates your gross savings. So let's color code our expense list. So go to your expenses sheet, then select the whole column here, and then go to format, conditional formatting. And what you can do is format rules if text is exactly category 1. Then let's change it to the color we chose, which was red. Then press done. And then let's add another rule. And then text is exactly category 2. Let's change that to orange. Done. Add another one. Text is exactly category 3. Yellow. Text is exactly category 4. And then the last rule for category 5, which is exactly the same method. It will be purple. Done. So that's all you need to do. Super simple. Let's do it for our income. So what you do is you select column C where the income source is, go format, conditional formatting, then go text is exactly workplace 1, red, done. Add another one for workplace 2. Then add the last one for workplace 3. Done. And that's it. So the next thing I'm going to teach you is how to add your budget and also how to adjust the cells so if you go over budget, they turn red. So first we're going to go down to this budget section here in your main dashboard, and let's just put in $50, $100, and then just duplicate that across. And what we're going to do is select this whole section here. So from category 1 all the way to total expenditure down to December 2020. Then you go format, conditional formatting, and you go to the format rules and format cells if custom formula is. And what you're going to type in is equals B2, which as you can see is this right here. So B2 is greater than B $17. And as you can see here, so B2 is this here, and if it's greater than B17, which is the budget that you've assigned. So when you look at this, you think it's only for B, but because we haven't put the $sign in front of B, then it means that when it gets adapted to the other cells, then it'll act in the same way for all the rest of the budgets. So then you change the color to something not cute, which is like the red, and then press done. And then we can test it out. So right now this is under budget. So then let's say our budget is 60. If we change it, then it goes red because this is greater than this. If we go back to 140, then see, it goes back to clear. So all of that is pretty much done, but I want to make a few finishing touches. So let's make the title here bold, the total bold. let's make this little section here gray. And let's make this section bold as well. Then this area, we should add up the total budget here. So go equals sum, bracket, select, and then that will be your total budget. Then these can be blank. And you can either just like leave them as is and cut it off there, or you can keep them green if you like. But these are pretty much irrelevant. And then do the same for your income dashboard. Go bold, bold, and then turn this gray. Okay, so now we're going to make our graphs, and it's super simple. All you got to do is select from A1 all the way down to F13, then go insert, then chart, and then the chart will pop up. And it's not a bar graph yet, which is what we want. So we're going to go into the chart editor and then go to setup and then change it to this stacked bar chart. And as you can see, the categories are all lined up here and they have their own colors for January 2020, which corresponds to the data over here. What you can do is go to customize and then go to title text and change it to yearly breakdown. So the title changes over here. Then if you go to series, you can go to total data labels. So you can actually see the amount of the total for the month. You can also do the data labels for every single one, but I feel like it gets quite messy, but that's up to you. And then if you want to change the colors of this to match the colors of your columns, select category 1, change the color. Category 2, change the color. Category 3. Category 4. And category 5. And you can leave it as is if you like the categories across here, but you can also go to legend and then go to position, and then you can put it on the right or the left, whichever you like. And then when you look at this, it feels like quite close. So what I'm going to do is change the horizontal axes. So go to horizontal axes and then go to this area here, which says minimum value and the maximum value. So let's put minimum as 0 and the maximum value as kind of how much you'd be likely spending a month. So let's just say about $3,000. And that way the maximum here is 3,000, and then you can actually see how close you are to your maximum. So that's done for the yearly breakdown, and now we want to do one for our categories. So what we can do is select the total. So from B15 to F15, then go to insert, chart, and this will show up here. And we want to make it a pie graph or a donut graph. I like donut graphs more. So we'll select that. So what we're going to do is add a label, and the label will be our data range at the top, which will be our categories. So select from B1 to F1, press OK. And as you can see, it starts labeling all of these little sections here now with the right categories. So now we can customize it. So go to customize, then pie chart, and then go to slice label, and then go value. So you can choose whatever you want. So you can go percentage if you want, but I like looking at the value. Then we can go to the pie slice and then change the colors of each pie slice. So category 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we can change the title to categories or anything that you'd like. And then that's it. Okay, so let's make graphs for our income dashboard. All you got to do is select from A1 down to D13, then go insert, chart, and then turn this one into a stacked bar chart, then go to customize, series, apply to all series, make sure it's total data labels, the chart and axis title, let's change the title to yearly income. Then let's change the colors. Workplace 1, light red, orange, and then blue. And then we can change the legend to the right side again. And then that's done. We can move that down here. So let's make our donut chart and select from B15 to D15. Then go Insert Chart. And this will create column chart, but we want to make it donut. So change it to donut here. Then uncheck Use Column A as headers. And then let's change this to B15 to D15. Then we want to add a label. We can go select data range and we'll select from B1 to D1. Okay. Then as you can see, they have workplace 1, 2, and 3. Then let's go to customize, pie slice, then go to workplace 1, change the colors, 2, 3. Let's change the title to income sources, and then go pie chart, slice label, and then go value. And then that's done. And drag it down here. And that's it. You've made your own expense tracker from scratch. Okay, so now that you've made your own income and expense tracker, you might have some old data from your CSV or some old data from your previous expense tracker that you now want to transfer over to your new tracker. And I'm going to show you how to do that. It's super simple. So I prepared these old expenses that I now want to transfer over. And the important thing is to have the purchase date, the item, the amount, and the category in the same columns that you're going to copy over. So what you're going to do is just copy all of this, then go to your expenses, then just paste. And this is how you can do recurring payments as well without having to manually put it in every month. So once it's in there, as you can see, the payments are already registered. So it's really as simple as that. But I would recommend you select all of these rows and then move it to the top. So that way when new data comes in, it continues to be filled out after this line. I'll do an example. So go to expenses and then let's put in cake for $3.99, category, and submit. And then go back, and then it just continues on listing it after this. And these payments here don't affect the order of your new expenses. And that's it. So that is my tutorial on how to create your own expense tracker from scratch. The link for my expense tracker 2.0 is in the description below for free if you wanted to download it and take a look. It's so simple to build. You can take these principles and make an expense tracker to suit your changing lifestyle. Have a play with the graphs, the form responses, the colors. That's what I really love about Google and Excel sheets, that your expense tracker will evolve and there's no restrictions. This tutorial was about building a basic tracker, but if you really wanted to customize it, my tutorial for that is linked below. Good luck, and thank you so much for joining me on this tutorial.